Okay, good morning. This is Trader James, and I'm actually here to do some daily recaps on my small account options challenge. As many of you are aware, I started with $500, and my goal is to make that $25,000. My first goal actually is just to get to 5,000. Once I get to 5, I'm going to go ahead and turn that into 25. So, some of you have requested to go ahead and do a daily recap as well as my daily postings of how I did. So we'll start with days 1 and 2 in the same video here, as technically they were swing trades. I started with SPY, my first trade on SPY. I actually, it wasn't a good day for me this day. So I was watching SPY and I was on the 1 minute chart, and I entered SPY at 6:40. This is my time, Pacific time. After this doji candle here, I entered SPY on this one for a put with the assumption that it was going to go down. Literally right after I made this trade, I had a power outage. It knocked obviously my power out, but where I live, without power, I have no Wi-Fi, which means I have no cell service, so I couldn't even monitor this trade on my phone to get out. And as most of you are aware, SPY went green that day. So by the time I was actually up and running 4 hours later, SPY was way up here. 10 o'clock roughly is when I got everything back up and running. And normally I should have just gotten out. I was about 50% upside down on this trade. However, in general, I'm actually bearish on SPY for the most part. It has such a strong down day. It had a couple of days bouncing, and I was actually shooting that it would bounce back down. And to my luck, that's what happened. SPY got back down, and I got out of SPY the next day at 7:30. So at the low of day at that time is when I hit my 10%. I was actually out of SPY right about here. Got my 10% win, and I was done. Okay, my next trade I actually made as well on US Steel. Why is it not linking up? I made a trade. Once my computer got back up and running, I decided to go ahead and make another trade. I got in US Steel at 10:12. So I was actually playing, I think, the 15-minute chart on US Steel. One more candle. Okay, so yeah, Steel had made its high of the day, and I got in about here for the break back up a high of day and was looking to scalp a quick 10%. Unfortunately, Steel went down, and I didn't get my 10%. So I went ahead and held that. I was bullish on it. After a long drop, it consolidated, went sideways for a few days, and I decided to go ahead and stick with it than rather taking, I think at that time was about a 3% loss. So it went sideways, had a nice green day, so I stuck with it. On the next day, let's see, Steel, I was out at 8:43. So right here about high of day, it hit my 10%, and I was done. So I swung both SPY and US Steel. My predictions were right, and it worked out for me. Made my 10% wins on both, and I was done for the day. Alright, and that's it for my day 1 and 2 recap. I'll get this posted on YouTube here shortly. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Thank you.